I'm Nathan and welcome to Stories with a Twang. Today's episode is called Peekaboo Part 3 by Bailey S. Singer. I'm worn out, worn down. I can barely focus on speaking, eating, thinking, and you know what? I don't even have the energy to feel afraid anymore. My body is covered in pinpricks of pain from the pieces that Peekaboo would remove. They zap my strength like a couple dozen tiny vampire bat bites. My bed is riddled with small splatters and spots of blood from the holes in my flesh. I resigned myself to my fate around the time I last contacted the masses, and my cares have grown fewer over the last while. I haven't left my home in 2 weeks. Grocery delivery and short-term disability have been my life support. I'm at the point where I'm considering pulling the plug. There's no point in living as a toy. I don't know why Peekaboo hasn't killed me. It seemed content to sample me whenever it felt like it. When I woke up today, Peekaboo was nowhere to be seen. I drudged myself toward the computer, intending on typing, well, a final farewell, I guess. There was an open document on the screen. It appeared that Peekaboo taught himself how to use the computer. I most definitely did not type this. Here's what it was.
The sound of these little plastic pieces creating lovely words. It's so delightful, like bone against bone, like slow, steady dripping of blood from a wound, like my fingers against glass as I adored my new companion. He called me something. Peekaboo. I liked it. Peekaboo. I peek, then I boo. It was sweet for him to give me such a name. He's so lovely. He's so delicious. He's my favorite out of all the ones I've found, and I've found so many delectable morsels begging for my attention. But this one, he's so very, very tasty. He was so kind to me, accepting me into his home. Most those I visit end up leaving me. My last tasty morsel did something. There was a lot of blood, and they stopped moving after a while. I think it's called dying. What's dying like? My new friend lays in his oh-so-sweet bed and sleeps. Yes, sleeps. Is that like dying? I don't like it when he sleeps. I can't watch the trembling fear cross his face whenever I scuttle close to taste his flesh. His flesh is so sweet, so scrumptious like honey and bile and blood sugar. His terror is even more delicious. It fills me with a joyous exuberance. It explodes out of me in a tittering song of rapture. He sleeps now, twisting and turning and groaning and moaning and whimpering and crying and Maybe this sleeping thing is more enjoyable than I thought. Maybe I'll play a lovely little game with him. I've spent so much time enjoying him, caressing him, pulling out hairs, pulling out fingernails, consuming them. I feel it's time to surprise him. I know, hide and seek. I'll hide, and when he wakes to seek, I'll stay hidden until he thinks I'm gone. I did this once, right after he so lovingly invited me in. I hid inside his food room, and when he reached up to get something, he placed his hand right on top of my hungry, waiting tongue. The fear it instilled in him tasted just as good as his skin. His scream was so scrumptious. I shuddered with pleasure. I think about when I first heard his need for fear, his need to feel that ringle-tingle running down his spine in the pit of his belly. I visit people who have a terrible disregard for the terror. Their terror lives tied and twisted and buried deep in their hearts, waiting to be coaxed and coerced into manifesting. It compels me. I know nothing but the urge, the impulse to rectify that lack. I know no other need. I want no other need. I don't know where I go between desires. It's a place of nothing, a place of emptiness, a place of silence, like the space between the inhale of a breath and the exhale of screaming. A place no sweetness ever existed. It infuriates me when I cannot have my delicious morsels. And then his desire awakened me. I existed. Once again, I existed. He drew me to him with his rage and frustration, his desire to fear, and when I saw him, I wanted to help him. I needed to help him. I wanted to dig into him and wrench out his horror, to satiate the vicious desire as it resonated in the pits of my bones and my teeth ached in longing. But I couldn't. I couldn't get to him. I couldn't touch him. I needed to. I wanted to. I watched his every move, growing hungrier inside, but delighted in the way his fear kept trickling out like an oozing sore, more and more when he would see me. Flavorful, that was me. I did that. I made the fear come out. I was so happy. And now he finally realized that I was meant for him. He invited me in, a terrible tandem to take the terror to new tipsy tops. Fun. Well, it has been fun, and yet, something has started to change. No. But yes, it's changed, small, different, but no, it didn't. But it did. Damn your eyes, look! No, not him. Not my precious sweet meat skin. The sugar started salting and is no longer sweet when I tasted him. His twitching was barely a reflex. The fear didn't bore into the core of his heart in the most satisfying of ways anymore. The fear fluttered. It fluttered like the baby birds. I'm afraid of losing my sweet, sweet companion, losing his delicious fear. Maybe it's time to initiate the transfer. Maybe it's time to become other. Hide and seek will have to wait. I need to consider.
I was appalled and a little bit mystified. Aside from the terrifying content, I didn't know the creature could be so eloquent. And the affection it seemed to have for me, it gave me goosebumps, but it was, admittedly, in a perverted sort of way, kind of sweet. The message also left a sour taste in my mouth. I had done this to myself. I literally summoned this demon with my own petulant and ungracious behavior. become other. Though I did not enjoy the sound of that, it gave me the impression that Peekaboo had more up his sleeve than torture. I heard a scuffling from the corner of the room, and I trepidatiously turned towards it. Its demeanor had changed lately. God, I feel stupid, but it didn't seem happy anymore. Am I mad for feeling just the tiniest bit of pity for it? It terrorized me, tortured me, taunted and tormented me, but I always seemed so enraptured when doing so. Lately, it looked almost as jaded as I felt. I met its eyes. It stared back unblinking, looking pensive, considering. I started when it spoke to me.
You lost your sweet, sweet flavor.
It croaked reproachfully, still considering me with its roomy, too big eyes.
You lost your sweetness, and it frustrates me.
I was taken aback. There was a hint of accusation in its voice, as if I had done something intentional to slight it. I gaped, wordless, and fumbled to find my voice. Incredulity and anger filled my chest. I'm sorry? I frustrate you? You act as if I stole something from you. What about me? What about everything you did to me? The stalking and hounding and torture and everything else you took from me. Go screw yourself. It quivered, but it didn't seem like anger or indignation. It almost seemed to be regret.
Peekaboo didn't want to take your fear. Peekaboo wanted to help you, to be with you, to give you the fear you oh so craved in the deepest caverns of your heart. Peekaboo didn't want this.
It wailed and hissed in a parody of anguish. It was an uncomfortable sensation feeling both appalled and sympathy for such a creature. So, that becoming other thing you mentioned. Peekaboo flashed to life, scuttling down the wardrobe and scurrying across the floor faster than thought. Before I could even react, it was upon me, clutching my shirt, nose pressed to mine. It stared deeply, deeply into my eyes. A twisted lover's stare.
Other, yes, other. Tell me, do you want this to end? Do you want me to stop mongering for your delicious fear? I don't want this to end. In the sweetness? I don't want to lose your sweet, sweet flavor.
Its foul breath washed over me, and it took a second to process the words. End it? In this seemingly ceaseless onslaught of torture? I cleared my throat. At what cost? What will it cost me to end this nightmare? It dropped away, scurrying backwards, eyes still locked on mine, to the corner of the room by the computer desk. It sat for a long, long time, never blinking, never moving. I started to sweat from the anticipation and anxiety.
Accept me.
It hissed. I blinked. Accept it? Didn't I already do that? What do you mean, accept? Didn't I accept you already? You're here, aren't you?
Accept me. Embrace me. Take me into your bosom and let me be of you.
I was confused and filled with a disjointed feeling I couldn't quite identify. I couldn't understand what it meant. I didn't know if I wanted to. I wanted the ordeal to end, but what did it mean to accept Peekaboo? What happens to me if I accept you?
Us. What happens to us? Nasty human. Nasty. It happens to us.
I was taken aback. It hardly occurred to me that Peekaboo would be affected by this becoming. Its written message gained more gravity in my mind. Us? It's something that affects us both? The growl seeped from its throat reminded me of a beast. It was angry. It didn't like what we were talking about as much as I did.
Us. Nasty. Both of us. We lose what we find sweet and we find what we want. Both. Us. Let us be or let us continue.
Peekaboo was as agitated as it had been before I invited into my life by leaving that godforsaken window open. Why can't you just go? Why can't you just leave me alone and leave?
No. I am here. Peekaboo is here to make the fear come forth in all its delicacy. I cannot go.
It growled again. I slumped in dismay. It appeared this was an all-or-nothing scenario. What did I do? What did I have to lose? A lifetime of minute torture? An eternity of sweet treatment? All I felt was despair. All I felt was a sense of inevitability, resignation, acceptance. Fine. You win. Peekaboo, I accept you. Immediately, it sprung to life, scrambling toward me, its eyes wider than I'd ever seen, bulging, filled with pure insanity. The grin it sported split its face as neatly as an axe. It was a smile of rapture. It was a smile of relief. It was a smile of a thing delighting in the sweetest treat ever existing. It climbed me, fingernails digging through my clothes into my skin, climbing closer, grasping my head with its two skeletal hands, snake-like skin rasping against my cheeks.
You are so beautiful.
And then it kissed me. The world went dark. Darkness. Everything was dark. Nothing. No pain. No hunger. No anything.
Yes.
I heard the whisper.
Yes, welcome to the dark. Welcome to nothing. Welcome to my home. Darkness. Dark like the absence of life. Dark like, there, a pool, a flash, there, life, hunger. I hungered. Yes.
I heard Peekaboo's whisper in my head. Suddenly, I existed. I could see. Grass. Dew-covered grass, colored teal in the early evening darkness. I could move. I could feel.
There, look.
The all-too-familiar voice hissed. I raised my head. A window. A window lit from within, and a sense of anger, frustration, arrogance. An arrogance that burned in the pit of my stomach. An arrogance that must be quashed.
Yes.
Peekaboo's voice hissed yet again. I moved. I engaged my limbs and crawled closer to the light. I could see into the window, see a girl sitting on her bed. She was peering into her phone, a look of pure dissatisfaction on her face. She wasn't happy. Maybe I could make her happy.
Time to get to work.
Peekaboo voiced an nihilistic parody of joy. This is a warning. I write this on my own computer telling you, beware. Beware that feeling of frustration. Beware the negligence you all project toward the idea of fear. Beware because we will come for you. Peekaboo and I, we are one. We will be happy to help you feel the fear you oh so crave. We will be enraptured to taste the sweetness you have to offer. We will come for you. Sweet dreams and happy hunting. Alright everyone, that's it for this week's story. I would like to give a giant thank you to this week's author, Bailey S. Singer, for another amazing story on the show. If you have any stories you would like me to read on the show, you can send them over to storieswithatwang@gmail.com. The show is on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Stories with a Twang Podcast. It would mean an awful lot if you could rate and review the show wherever you listen, and don't forget to share with your friends and family as well. It could really help the show grow. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and until next time, remember that a little twang goes a long way.